Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. Lots and lots of stuff to do. That's all I have to say. It is not easy. It is very, very, very stressful. And I don't know how I'm going to maneuver this situation, but we're going to start from scratch and we're going to work our way up. So let's talk about what today brings. So we got 20 days before I'm actually out. I'm actually out about a 20th, but I gave myself 4 extra days. Um, so the lease, it ends on the 20th. And I move on and proceed to move from different places to I proceed to move. Let me move this thing. I proceed to move from here to a different state. Um, I don't want nobody to know because it seems like every time I go, wherever I go, it's like a sick and twisted my buddy system, tier system. Wherever I go, you know, people get bribed or something end up happening. I've been very vigilant and not saying exactly where I'm going because I know that they have my best interests at heart. And I want them to know out there, it's not about you personally. It's about what I've experienced over the course of 5 to 10 years almost well, I can only situate 5. I've experienced for 5 years, with things happening. So if it seemed like I'm calling, I'm not calling. Unless you hear key words from me asking about certain things, it's not me calling. I'm not going to call no more. So, I urge you to really be vigilant and do your due diligence when you're um anybody behind me that requests to be near where I'm at. So by the 20th, I should be out of Seattle. I've had some things happen that I'm not proud nor I appreciate. You know, I've had some things happen to me where I've had a story. It's not about, bragging about having a story. It's about just having a story to tell that you feel like, hey, look, well, I'm not it's not for me, and I didn't appreciate it. Like from me illegally being set up like I was 2 weeks ago almost. But let's go further back. Illegally being set up at a shelter, and they put something in my uh, stuff that caused me to act out inappropriately. And then that I didn't appreciate because now I know that I'm being taken advantage of inappropriately. That I did not like. And what hurts the most, you guys, what hurts the most is how I sat up there and tried to tell my story, and I just get nowhere. I have no reason to lie to the government. I'm not saying Seattle is a bad place. I'm saying the cards that I've been dealt. If you're rich, you have an advantage. This Seattle is for rich, not just white, but rich people. Back in the day, it was just for predominantly white, but they have accepted, you know, rich, African Americans and rich Hispanic Americans in their circle. But if, yeah, so they have accepted that. But I've been given the hands and dealt the wrong hands, and I'm like, when am I going to be dealt the right hand? So I decided where I'm moving, I outweighed the pros and the cons together, and I outweighed the pros and the cons together with what I have to offer. And that means I have a lot to offer, like the pros is I can possibly get back into a cleaning business. I can possibly get back into a lot of different things. I can talk to the Chamber of Commerce. If it don't work through the company, then I can talk through the Chamber of Commerce where I'm going, so that I can get commercial cleaning business through the Chamber of Commerce. That's like an inside type deal. That's like an inside type deal, excuse me. That's like an inside type deal where you sit up there and you get referrals from the chamber. Um, what else? The people there, I'm very optimistic. The people there sound great. The people there sound great. You know, um, the people there, they sound like they got a good head on their shoulders and they welcome new people. You know, I can tell, I'm gonna be honest, I can tell when someone's being fake. And this does not come across as fake. It comes across as genuine. And none of them know each other. The only flack I got was from um, when I called ADT. I called ADT and an African American guy picked up and he asked me to repeat my stuff, and then he didn't hang up, but he just kept me on hold. So I hung up. And then when I called back, you know, you can tell it's a small company. Even though it's a big company, it's a small company. And I'm not trying to downplay, African Americans, or say that they're bad people. All I'm saying is I'm identifying him. If he would have came to my house and did something to me and I lived to survive, I would know that the last thing I did with him is he had me repeat my social and everything like he was recording me. Then he asked me about the Kimberly Cloud Show. Like it was terrible. Like during the winter months, during the busiest time, then he tried to deduct $500 from my account. So I had to shut that down, and they keep calling me now. That's not good service, ADT. That is not good service when you have a bunch of wild animals sitting up there taking calls. And that goes for Xfinity too. That goes for Xfinity too. A bunch of people that shouldn't even be working there and scamming people. Like even with AT&T, I remember when I used to work there, they used to scam people out of their phones. They used to buy phones on other people's accounts and get caught. Once again, they always think they're never going to get caught. And the person who did what they did to me at the shelter was Black. I can't help that I'm identifying, my teacher, he's white. I do not want no one getting a hold of my address until I changed it. I don't want no one getting a hold of my address. I'm not giving the VA my address. I'm not giving SSVF my address. I'm not giving nobody my address. I'm getting a new computer when I enforce the court order from Y Unified. And when I win, then, and only then will I get my money. Like, and it's sad because now I'm going to go where I'm going to sue for pain and suffering, the maximum, have them served again, and go to court again because I told them not to play. I said, can I get my money? Had I been waiting on that money, I would never move. That's sad, man. A company is still in action, taking away thousands of dollars from people. I wrote the FBI. I wrote everybody I can possibly write about this sick company that Kevin O'Leary backed up with his own mouth. I don't care if he did a little bit of research. I don't care if he got paid to do it. What he did by having his mouth say that he backed up Y Unified was wrong. And I'm not prejudiced. I'm just being honest, man. That was my hard-earned money. That was my hard-earned money, and they played me out of it. So when I get the order, I have to do some type of international exchange where I sit up there and exchange money. Not exchange money, but exchange jurisdiction to Florida. And that'll take, like, I don't want to say how long that'll take, but it'll take some time. And then looking by March, I should have a minimum of 98% of my money back. And then I'm going back in and say this video will show that they caused me pain and suffering. I wrote them all the whole organizations is involved last night with one more demand. I'll give it a week, which I know they're good at not responding. So I'll stop it there, time out, and I'm not giving nobody my address until I change it. I'm not saving no information. Once I do get the money back from Y Unified, I am going to buy a computer, another computer. That way I keep my business on here. This is my business computer. This is where I go online and I do my shows and do my videos. But I'm gonna have, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Well, I do. This will be my computer for business for the Kimberly Cloud Show. My other computer will be for my vital information like passwords and everything, even though they have it on this computer, I need everything stored on there as well. So, yeah. So that is what I'm going to do when I get back from Y Unified. Um, I'm not saving no information, nor am I giving out information out in public. It's my information. Once you go out there in public and you sit down in a public setting with a camera near you or without a camera near you, it's public. It's NSA jurisdiction, which I know I have nothing bad to say about the NSA or CIA or FBI. No news is good news. But once you sit out there in a public place, your information is out there for life. You have a file on you. Everyone do. The FBI wouldn't be in business if they only had a couple of people that they were investigating. Two people or one agent, special agent, to like 10 to 50 people. And when I looked it up, it was like 37,000 people. But I know, now that I know how big they are, it's no way it's just 37,000 agents on the force of the FBI. It has to be more. And I don't care. I don't want to know the accurate number, to be quite honest. I just wanted to know because I want to know. I got to know. I want to know. It's not that I wish to do any harm. I just want to know. And artificial intelligence and Grok and all of these other artificial intelligence, they get what I'm saying. I just want to know. If you have to feel me when I say an Apple computer, an apple for an apple, an eye for an eye, knowledge for knowledge. It has nothing to do with trying to do some harm. I just want to know. Like, literally. I'm very optimistic about where I chose. I'm appreciative of the people I came across in Seattle and where I'm going. I'm very, very appreciative. This is my documentary. And if you're thinking about moving, I have the remedy. Now, every time I try to give somebody advice, someone sits up there and try to sabotage me to make me look even worse, like I don't know what I'm doing when I do know what I'm doing. If there were fair people out there that were being fair, if anything happens, it's out of my control. I can't control someone, but I can only make moves and trust that that person will do what they have to do. Fair enough. This is my documentary, and if you're thinking about moving, I have the remedy. If you are a veteran and you are trying to move out of state and you have enough money to try to meet them halfway, I would talk to the SSVF, DAV, and other main companies that will help you with your housing and other cool incentives. I have one, like I said, I didn't go through them per se, but they were, for the fucking record, they were going to help me. They was going to help me. Yeah, but I know the strategy and how it works. So I was like, no, if I don't have to do it, I won't do it. But it's definitely for people that is trying to move out of state. You contact the place that you're at and the place that you're going, and then do it that way. It takes like 2 weeks, and then some people are impatient. They don't want to wait that long. They want the money up front, and that's where their dialect come in border. But as long as you have a landlord that can work with you and people that care, then it should go by smoothly. State funded bureaucratic companies. I have one or more appointment with the VA, but that does not mean all is lost. I don't care if the VA likes me or not here. My intentions were not, I put this on God. My intentions were not, absolutely not, to smear y'all name. Your behavior caused me to seek out someone bigger than you. Whether you're nice or not, it shows that I sought out someone greater than you guys, since you guys were gaslighting me, some of you guys. And if it wasn't for the men that happen, I hate to say it, they're white men, because that's all that works in the VA. I wouldn't have got my dental work done. I wouldn't have got nothing majorly done. I had no problem with my nurse until my nurse smacked me on my butt slyly. I had no issues, no issues. And then lied to me and told me I didn't have an appointment with dental. That messed up the trust. So if you're mad, oh well. You sat up there and you messed up the trust. I'm not pouting nor sad over your messed up dialogue. You know what you did. Now, I'm excited to tell the story of a woman who, and I'm filing a lawsuit. I'm filing a lawsuit. Y'all called me. Y'all all called me since I went to OIG, and y'all letting me know the time is not now to act, and that's what I'm gonna do, because that's my word against his, and I have no reason to lie. I don't mind, like I said, and that's why I respect Trump, because like I tell him, I'm not looking for no hanky panky, and nor is it, this is not that type of level. I'm looking for someone who can look out for me and I look out for them as a friendship way. That I'm not no Marilyn Monroe. I'm not trying to be one. I'm just trying to be myself. That's why I respect Trump. I'm not looking, when I make a friend with any race of a man, anything other than what you are there to do for me. So here are the other things. I got the plane ticket. I got the house. I got the insurance. I got the movers. That's all y'all need to know. If I say I got the plane ticket for XYZ and XYZ on XYZ before XYZ, now make sure you hit XYZ at the lane of XYZ and go all the way down the street. And there's a little doggy that's like, woof, woof. And then there's the house right there. You know, I can't tell you all that. I cannot tell you all that. That's so, like I said, that's a taste of what I've been doing behind the scenes. I'm transitioning as much as God allots me to. I hope I spelled that right. A lot. I didn't put a lot. I put a lot to me too. That could have been two T's though. Anyway, anywho, I hope that you guys like this episode as we count to the 24th, the main date. Excuse me for not being on here. I am working behind the scenes. Every day I am working behind the scenes to go ahead and proceed on this move. You know, I can only say so much because I got so long, and anything can happen. And this is during the holidays. I know the flight attendants can't um regulate an airplane being I did the right thing. No flight attendant can regulate an airplane being delayed unless it's actually in the sky delayed. No one can regulate that except the government. And I've been lucky thus far. So I did the right things with what I've done thus far. And I dotted my dots of my T's and my I's and everything. I dotted my T's and I's. And with the VA, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get an outside provider. I don't want to deal with that, man. That was a headache, man. I had it's not about sucking something up. It's about someone in a higher up position thinking that they're never in the wrong. That's the problem. Certain people think that they're never in the wrong when they're in a higher up position. And that's not right. At the VA, that's what has happened. They forgot about the little ones, the small fries. I even put it in the newspaper. I just, I had to put it in the newspaper about the VA, you know, and tell what happened, and they still fought tooth and nail to resist me. I asked for acne medicine. I should still write another paper. I said, can you give me oral acne medicine? And my doctor, she's like, well, you know, you're leaving, so just wait until you get to where you're going because you have to be monitored. There is absolutely no way that I could be monitored. If I'm being monitored within a 2 to 3 week period, then that means I will be there and I will be settled and seeing another doctor and y'all can correspond. But instead, you cut me fully off like y'all did in Hawaii, like y'all did to me in Pennsylvania, like y'all did to me practically in Maryland, like cut me off. But it's just acne medicine. I'm not asking for the other medication. I'm asking for pure acne medicine. Y'all are being scarce with acne medicine. Come on now. That's why I want to go see an outside provider. I don't want to get in this trap again. It's not about going to a VA to use them. It's about being treated as a human being. The only person I give credit at the VA right now is the man who worked on my mouth. The man who worked on my mouth. That is the only thing that I can say. He did an excellent job, and I can tell he put work into it. So, if nobody gave you a round of applause, thank you. And that's not out of, funniness. Don't laugh. Just know that I appreciate you for what you did, giving me a better lease on life. A start at inclining upward. It's up to me to keep up with myself. And that's what I'm about, man. Whoever gave him the go and the doctors who sat around sitting up there working on the big doctors. I'm not talking about the doctors I see every day. I'm talking about the doctors behind closed doors. The doctors who orchestrated me getting my surgery. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Like I don't know what I can say. You did what the Army Review Board did. You gave me a second chance. Whether you have an ulterior motive, because we know the VA ain't just giving out, free shit, whether you had an ulterior motive or not, you know, thank you. You have some type of faith in me. And that goes out. I don't know how to pronounce your name to the doctor who actually did the surgery. That's why I gave you a handshake. I meant it. I never discussed it. I meant every handshake I gave you. I was 2 days post surgery, face not even swollen. You did an excellent job. And so I walked past you and I'm like, hey, and you're on the phone and I'm like, you about to talk to me. You are the reason why I can smile. Thank you. Thank you, bro. I don't know how I can say it, man. I don't know how he is like Indian. He is Indian. He's mixed with something, you know. and I appreciate him. That's the only credit I give to the VA. The men and the women behind the scenes, and um the guy who did that for me. Thank you. This was $120,000 worth of work. It's not the same type of surgery you get on an outside provider. They put in work. And I asked how much before they did it. So if they're putting that much into me, they don't want to see me in jail. They don't want to see me homeless with $120,000 worth of equipment on me. So those who had a problem with me while at the VA, they are watching y'all. They are watching y'all carefully. So you can play dumb with me. You can play like you not trying to resist me, but resist me. But we both know you do not like me. And so I avoided. I didn't record you, but I know. So yeah, that's how I feel about the VA. It's like a love-hate relationship. The people I love, I appreciate you guys. The people that try to make me look stupid, belittle me, make me feel dumber than what I am, put me in high-end test-like situations to make me feel bad about myself. That is what bullies do. That is what bullies do. And then when I fight back, it's like, oh, lock her up. Not fight back physically, but verbally and through the newspaper and through articles and through this platform. I can easily get into the paper, but I'm waiting for the right news to talk about. You got, I don't want to give out the news companies, but you got major news companies. You can put news blasts and 200 articles end up on the news at once. Universal, you got a lot. And I'm just waiting on the right news. I don't want to talk about this. I'll talk about it on my show, but I don't want to talk about this repetitively. I just want to grow. I just want them to grow. If you can take anything from this, grow. Grow a pair. And I'm not talking about what y'all thinking about, but grow a pair and actually a third part of your brain open and you see what you did to me was wrong. Grow from this. Don't doubt me and say what I did to you was wrong when you know the law. You've been working longer than me. I don't work at the VA. I don't work at the VA. I don't work at the VA. You guys do. And y'all went to somewhere that supposed to treat clients and people like me, patients like me, and you take it for granted. You use and abuse us as patients. You get these degrees and you just forget. You let your life, this is your test too. While you're testing me and laughing behind my back, you're being tested too. And if the VA is starting, 4 people reached out to me. This was your test. Just like it was your test when I was in Philly. Just like it was your test when I was in Ketchikan, Alaska at the Coast Guard. Everywhere I've been. I'm not trying to test no one, but the VA could be trying to test y'all. Do y'all think y'all passed the test? To sit up there and embarrass me in the meetings? And this is not to the doctors that helped me. This is to the doctors that wanted to see me, my courage go down a little further. They strategically put me in these heightened situations where I don't want to talk and people aren't talking directly to me, but everybody else in the situation. That right there is dead wrong. At the VA, one doctor invited me to a group that had nothing to do about with what he said. So I politely stayed in there. I politely stayed in there until I started seeing a pattern that everybody was talking to everybody else except me, which is normal, but not normal seeing as though you invited me to a group. After saying that the VA or the military did a test subject, a test study on one lady that signed up for a test to be ignored and didn't know what the test was. He said a lady, and I hope that ain't me. I hope that lady isn't me, because that's exactly what happened. And so sign up for a special case study. And this study entails the lady going doing a project where everybody else ignores her. And it happens in everything I do now. Everybody ignores her. I think where I'm moving is going to be great. I have positives, but everybody in the group ignores. And then at the end, they tell her the purpose of this experiment was to ignore you and make you feel like you didn't even exist. So what does a doctor with that type of power go and do? He invites me to a group where the exact same thing happens. But I never get told at the end, or told, maybe it's not yet. I don't know. But whatever I signed in the military, this is not even about just doctors, whoever he is. This is bigger than this. This is about possible technology. This is about positive and negative technology. And this technology, believe it or not, can do things. And if you think I'm lying, think about this. Think about this for a second. What does some of the government has to hide? What is being so hidden? And so why is everything so normal? Nobody questions the taboo no more. Nobody. And if it had to come down to that, I'm okay with it. I'm being paid for it. So if I was being paid for it, I'm okay with it. Fine, do it. And then I would sit up there and loathe it. I would sit up there and be like, nah, nanny boo boo, there's nothing you can do. You know, I don't know. I would be, if I knew it was, I would brag about it. So maybe that's why they don't want to tell me. Just like as though the police don't want to tell me what's going on with me because they know I try to extract information to get a feel of the situation. Just like the FBI way a year ago hung up on me. I was like, ma'am, I'm sorry under these circumstances. Ma'am, what do you have to tell us? You know, I'm like, Lord Jesus is still under the Biden administration. You can tell. And so, yeah, um, big shout out to the agents laughing at me for calling them, asking to speak to a manager. Now that I know how huge the FBI is, you know, and how y'all operate, that was a whole, like in Santa Maria, they probably used to joan on me for calling them. I mean, it was legit. It was legit. I wasn't just calling for them to laugh at me, but I'm like, I'm telling them the truth. I'm like, let me speak to your manager. And then they're like, hold on, ma'am. I'm sorry, we can't get the manager right now. You know, and I'm like, okay, dude. You know, like they were like, how can I accommodate you? That's basically what they said. How can I accommodate you? We can't get the manager. Whoever was the manager, like they had me on the phone for 30 minutes having me go on to tell my story. And now that I know I was being recorded, oh man, I was being recorded. Lord Jesus. It got heated sometimes, but they took me serious. I always have to get to that point. It's like they want me to get to that point where I'm like, look, if anything this is my code word. I guess this has been implanted in my brain. If anything happens to me, FBI, it's on you because I told you the truth. I never lie. I do, but I don't like that. You see what I'm saying? You know, if lying ceased to exist, I would be a very happy person because in certain rituals and certain things you have to do, you have to lie. Certain things you have to do, you have to lie because if you told everyone everything, and that's how the government feels. Certain things you have to lie, and you have to trust in God that God will accept those things and see the whole picture and how your life went when it happened. I wasn't at an Ivy League school. I wasn't in a beautiful neighborhood, you know, in Charlotte, Mecklenburg. I was in a shack. I was in a shack. That's as good. No heat, no water, no nothing. Barely had water, cold water. So yeah, I came from nothing to something. And if it wasn't for the government, if it wasn't for the good people, even some of the bad people that said, damn it, I have to do this for this woman. But, she ain't all that bad. You guys, thank you. Like, you give me an outlet to talk to people. That's all I ever wanted. You know, what if, I'm like the oddball where it's like my chemistry? Because I know I want y'all to hold on for a second before you leave, but my chemistry, sometimes like, and I'm not talking about in the sense of like women duties, but like, I don't know why I can get along with so many people online. I don't know. I don't know why. But then at the same time, I go through stuff outside of here. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing because I know there's a reason why I'm getting paid. And I put my faith in Donald Trump. At any moment, he can take away my check. But I will stand up and say, even though y'all disagree, and there are some things that's being done between the Democrats and Republicans, my safe, soft, sweet spot is to stay away from that. But because I'm in a Democrat state, even when I move, I just don't want nobody following me. And so I'll just remain, and I'm just being honest, like I just want to um remain around certain people for right now. And it's not even for right now, it's forever. I get along, not only do I get along, but it's like everybody as a whole I get along with, but it's like certain people give me a slim chance of. I remember, let me tell you a story. I remember I was in Hawaii and one of my ex-husband's friends, like, and his wife came over and I started playing Lady Gaga. I started playing Lady Gaga, Poker Face, or um the one of her songs I started playing in. They were like laughing. They started laughing. And so I'm like, hold on, y'all. Hold on for a second. So I'm like, I can't even be myself around my own people. And that's how it always been. So I'm just telling my story. Don't shoot the messenger, literally. Don't shoot me for telling my story about what I've experienced with races and cultures, you know. Um, I don't hate nobody. I don't hate nobody. But don't get mad at me because I get treated a certain way based on how I dress and how I talk. People think I'm stuck up. People think I'm, you know, conceited. To be quite honest, the only reason I look at myself is because I'm looking through myself at what I envision God wants me to look like. It has nothing to do with saying, looking at myself saying I'm pretty or prettier or any of that. There are some beautiful women out here. There's some really, really beautiful women out here. Everybody has their something about them. And I'm not prejudiced. I'm just saying that that's what happened to me. So yeah. Um I just hope I'm still gonna root for you guys. I'm still gonna root for you guys, all races and everything, but I just rather be around predominantly, you know, white with a mixture of Black culture and a mixture of Hispanic culture, because you hear about serial killers. Some serial killers are white, just like serial killers are Black. But you don't hear about anything going on in a predominantly white area neighborhood, right? That's safe to say, right? You go to any other race, hands down, someone has been killed in that neighborhood. The only thing that happens in a white neighborhood is maybe the elderly then transitioned on, and maybe serial killers or try to be, or possible pedophiles are in the area. But other than that, you don't hear about it. And since the FBI is working on that, I'm good. What does a pedophile want with me? What do I want with a pedophile? What do I want with a rapist? What do a rapist want with me when they know that I'm hot right now? I the FBI is possibly watching me. So it's the perfect exchange, to keep me safe. And I know they be having those neighborhood watches. So I'm like, yeah, this don't look right. 911. And they gladly pick up. 911, what's your emergency? Yeah, I don't have to call, because they gonna know that something is wrong when people start acting funny, parked down the street with a beer, it uh why would you drink and leave the beer on the ground? You left the beer on the ground at what time? Like, seriously, I just, why are you going in this area? Whoever does that in this area, like, this is a beautiful area. This is a beautiful area. I can't say it no more than what it is. And it's like, it's sad. The trash can is right up the street. I mean, not even up the street, it's like 9 feet away. I've never littered since I've been here. Maybe at best, let me not lie, a tissue, a tiny piece of tissue I've dropped on the ground, or some juice I've spilt on the ground, which evaporates. But not a bottle, not a chip bag, not 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 a bottle, not papers, nothing. I'm nothing like that. My trash may be in the car sometimes, but hey, we we can't be that clean, you know. Maybe some balled up tissue or a piece of paper balled up, or juice bottle. You're getting real famous, juice bottle, you know. But it's crazy. So yeah, I am about to take a break. I wanted to talk about that, you know, what's on my mind, and I gave no real vital information away because, you know, people are actually waiting with their fingers on the keyboard or their pen on the paper to sit up there and write and jot down something. They need something. And I ain't giving nothing, nada, zilch, nothing. Take care, y'all.